Now today, I have the collectible 5-inch action figures of the Simpsons characters Bartman and Otto from Jakks Pacific, and I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised. So, let's go ahead and check it out. Now, taking a quick look at the packaging for the Simpsons action figures, the front clearly shows the action figure of both Otto and Bartman with their accessory, but the front is pretty much the same. On the left side is the same illustration of Lisa and a portion of Homer. On the right side, you get a toy photography close-up of both action figure heads, which is really nice. On the back side, they're pretty much the same, showcasing the action figures you can get in the future on this Wave 1 set, but you get the toy photography of a full body shot of Bartman on the Bartman one and Otto on the Otto, with him holding his guitar and Bartman on the skateboard, as well as with the slingshot. The bottoms are pretty much going to be the same as the toy jargon, but with their respective UPC codes, as you can see. And on top, pretty much nothing except for Marge and the little baby. These Simpsons action figures slide out like so in front of a pink background. They're securely in place with form-fitted plastic all around them, the action figure as well as accessories, and they even use some plastic banding to keep them secured. Now, we're not here for boxes. Now, taking these figures right out of the box, I have to say, I am really impressed with them so far. Because right now, I mean, looking at them both, the sculpt on these things are gorgeous. The coloring is, I feel like, spot on. And I really hope they articulate very well as balance when I do some action figure poses with them. But, I mean, just look at these guys. They are great looking. Again, that single tone coloring throughout, very cartoon-like from The Simpsons. The only thing I would have to say is, I think they're a little bit more on the pastel side. I think a little bit more saturation in the color would make them pop a bit more, but otherwise, these things are great. I mean, Bartman looks serious. I love the fact with the cowl and again, all that spikiness. They just didn't give the spikes on the edge, but like throughout the whole deal. I mean, I had no idea Bart had that many spikes on top of his head. I mean, look at Otto. That beautiful luscious hair and all those kind of textured details. And everything is just colored precise and pristine. I don't see a single paint line mess up. I mean, even in here, which I was expecting the shoelaces, they are very clean. Walkman has it great. They even went to the details on his little wristband accessory with that light pink, but that is just wonderful. And even though there's not much details in the accessories themselves in regards to the paint job as much as they do on the actual figure, they still have incredible detail. I mean, look at Otto's guitar. I mean, you've got the whammy bar, you've got the knobs, you've got even all the strings. A little black dry brush, this thing would be amazing. The Bartman skateboard is awesome. Wheels even move, got the peg right here for his feet. So that's gonna be great. Hopefully these things balance out really well. I mean, just look at that. Already standing up. Bartman's slingshot, again, very simplistic in how it looks, but really nice. I don't know if I like these nubs at the end. I don't know if that's the rubber tied off. Looks convincing right here at the front of the Y, but not so much here at the back. Again, really would have wished they would have painted the accessories a little bit better on these. Maybe just couldn't do it. But again, that would have made it really pop. This like ball was pink. This was yellow. The band was a different color. The Y was fine as it is. But again, there's just so much wonderful details on this. I mean, just look at that gorgeous Walkman that he has. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't put a tape in there, for Pete's sakes. And I love the fact that, again, not part of the articulation, but it's nice soft plastic, and it even comes out just in case, you break it, like I just did. If you move his head too much, you can just put that back in there. So hopefully that stays. Again, a lot of the details is going to be up on the front of the characters, as you can see. There are details on the back, but not as much. I mean, you don't really see these characters from the backside that often. But it's, again, such a great job. Now, there's one issue that I have with this Bartman, and that is the gripping of his hand with this accessories of his slingshot. It's very difficult, as you can see. It really just falls out. They probably needed to either make the handle wider, larger on the slingshot so it can grip in there easily, or maybe added a hole right here with a little peg aspect there to just kind of click it in there. But that's kind of my biggest gripe with this Bartman action figure. Let's check out how well these figures articulate. Now we'll go ahead and we'll start out with Otto first to see how well he articulates. left to right on his head, there is a bit of restriction. You can force it to go over, and that's nice that it can do that, but it's going to be a little bit of a little pressure that's going to have to happen. Nothing up and down. Soft plastic right here. These don't move. Arms have some T-motion. You can see you're going to have to adjust the head portion, but that hair piece right there is going to sometimes push that arm down, as you can see if you do rotate that head. Let's see. These are very thin. They don't feel cheap, but they feel very thin, so I'm a little scared. But otherwise, I mean, that is really smooth, and I hope it keeps, its stiffness and just doesn't, like, over time, just droop down. But we'll find out. But the arms articulate really well. Great rotation right there. Bend. No, let's see. Does it rotate right there? Nope. But right there at the bicep area. The wrist area rotates nicely. Wrist point in. Wrist point out, as you can see. Really good. Torso articulation. Ooh, that is lovely and very smooth. Don't think there's going to be a crunch. Oh my gosh, actually there is. There's a ball joint. So there is some minor little back and forth and swivel that you can do. That's actually really nice. Surprising. Legs. They're going to do this far on the split on that ball joint. Go there. Shorts. Legs. Not the shorts, but the legs are going to go this far, and they are restricted due to how the shorts end up right there. And again, not much is going to happen on the back, so that's kind of a bummer. You're not going to get much of a kicking pose, but you got some. But again, very smooth articulation. Knee areas does rotate there at the top portion of the leg, but not there at the knee, doesn't look like. But they do bend really nicely. But they're just going to bend backwards. That's what I mean, but that's how a knee works. Feet spin around quite good. Nothing pointing down or up. And no rocking on these stilts. Checking out the articulation of Bartman here. The head spins around quite nicely. No left or right. No up and down. Just a simple spin. Arms point upwards. Nice T-motion. They're going to go forward. And actually, can you do them around 360 at the shoulder? Yes, you can. Is there going to be any swivel at the bicep sort of area? You can do that. Right there at that ball joint, they do point inwards, so that's really nice at the elbow. Wrists, again like Otto, spins around, points inwards, and points outwards. All right, lovely. Let's see. I'll assume he rotates right there at the torso. Really nice. And a minor ball joint deal. Not as much as Otto's, so there is restriction there. Legs, that's about it on him, how it's built. He does have a bit of a kind of a tummy going on with that shirt, so it kind of limits right there. Legs, that's about as far as he's going to go back. And obviously, with that cape, he is going to be restricted. As for the legs, they can spin around. It's kind of hard to do with such tiny, thin legs, but they can spin around, as you can see with the shoe. Knees, really nicely done on that. And the feet will spin around, but that's about as far as the articulation is going to go there. All right, let's see how tall these Simpson figures are. Now, these Jakks Pacific Simpsons action figures are actually their 5-inch scale, with Otto here just being around the 4 3/8 inch mark, and Bartman right around the 3.5 inch, which I think is a little bit tall in regards to a scale of the Simpsons kid versus an adult like Otto, but I'm not actually complaining. I actually like the size of Bartman right here. And for fun, this is how these Simpsons collectibles might fit within your action figure lineup. As a Simpsons fans, these collectibles are really fun to collect. They really nailed it with the coloring and the sculpt, I thought. Now there's some issues with the grippage of the action figures holding their accessories, but that's pretty minor. I still think these are great pieces for one's fandom of the show. Plus, the articulation for this price point, surprisingly, was pretty adequate, as you can see on some of the poses I was able to achieve. Now, if you want to see more Simpsons showcases of these collectible 5-inch action figures, drop your comments below for me to find out. And let me know which one you want to see next. I think there's a Homer out there. I think there's a Willie. Plus, Wave 2 is coming out if it's not already out. So, very excited about that. I have not seen it in my area, but hopefully soon it'll show up. And if you want to get these Simpsons action figures for yourself, I should have a link to purchase them in the description below. And if you want to watch more action figure reviews here, go ahead and click this link right here. Well, thanks for watching me here in Nerd Amazing, and as always, be passionate in what you do, share your passion with others, and be kind to one another, as the world could always use more kindness in it. This is Adam with Nerd Amazing, and I'll see you next time.